of work and play are really being transformed by technology into new dimensions of existence. And technology is making the world a very rapid changing environment. And obviously, architecture and urban development could not stay away from the digitalization path. And technology has changed quite a lot. At the moment, the 21st century digitalization demands are no longer able to be addressed by 20th century mindsets or 19th century business models. And the traditional relationship between architecture and bioengineering for projects like Tianjin in China, very challenging things, 350,000 people will be hosted there, or Hamburg's bioreactor building. This is not the technology that I'm talking about. This is not digitalization. This is a bit of an Avatar James Cameron society, still a bit further away in time. Digitalization is right here, right now. In the technology industry, our predictions are that in about 5 years from now, it will be a society of connecting everything. And in 2025, just 10 years from now, not just refrigerators and cars and PCs and mobiles will be connected, but buildings, schools, workplaces. And it's not that far of a distant future. So the way digitalization is coming into what it is, a building, is by way of the demand for digitalization that the inhabitants have. So your typical building management system, which at the moment is just gathering and managing, heating and electricity, is going to soon be a learning machine and a bit of an AI machine, because it will be taught to take decisions based on the preferences of the people that live within that space. And it will be taught because everybody would want the BMS to have a target supply way of operating. And the sensor networks society that we're rapidly evolving into, well, they're not just great things for smart cities and parkings and management of traffic. Sensors really have an enormous variety of applications. So I can apply sensors to monitoring forest fires, or in Northern California, and they're putting sensors into vineyards so that they can predict if they're going to have a reserve wine or it's going to be less quality. But you can now put sensors into building facades, and they will allow you to monitor if cracks are beginning to occur. So it's not just about parking spaces. The sensor networks is really enlarging all the possibilities. And obviously, if we're going to be planning buildings where people are going to be living, well, the 20th century's requirements have totally expanded, because today, people live in an app economy. Most of us use our phones to manage our lives, have apps a little bit for work, apps for fun, and all of that is part of life. So the sensors that we saw 10 years ago about having homes where you can switch on and on the lights, this is not the switch on and on networks I'm talking about. I'm talking about putting sensors into contextual spaces that allow me to make decisions. Or you can install sensors within the infrastructure of a house so that the person buying that flat is not going to just decrease their home insurance, but is also going to have a plumbing company coming to the rescue if they happen to be on holiday and one of those pipes burst. So again, sensors are going beyond the thermostat, the famous Google Nest. It's not about thermostats. It's about management life. And you can now even, it's not working. You can even now connect sensors, your home, and your home keys.
These are the people you let inside your home. The dog walker, the plumber, your 2 out-of-town friends, your little brother, and her. These are the 2 people you never let inside that door. One's a professional cat burglar. The other, your insane drunk ex-housemate. This one doesn't think he needs a key. And that one still has one. Let's face it, you don't have time to open the door for everyone. You can't actually, which is precisely why you have August. August is the lock that requires no key, only an invitation. An invitation that you can give and take away whenever you please. Keyless, codeless, and completely secure, August minds your entry when you cannot. You'll be alerted when your invitee arrives, and you'll know precisely when he leaves. No more racing home to let your out-of-town guests in. No more having to ask for keys back. Your lock recognizes you automatically and opens without you having to do a thing. And for your friends, you just create an invitation and press send.
And that is not 5 years from now, that is right now. And this cute little startup from the Valley have transformed Airbnb. It's truly getting people to sign on and install that in their homes. But obviously, life is also about work. And what's happening to the workspaces on how they're being designed is that now corporations want to have work offices the way we have them at technology places. And the truth is that the workplaces in the technology world are not comfortable places. They're not meant to have content 9-to-5 employees that feel comfy. They're actually places of intense unstructured environment where people bump into each other, they're meant to have collisions, and that is precisely the Facebook office design. Now, Mark Zuckerberg had very, very specific requirements. He just didn't want Gary to build him a huge building with no interiors. He wanted Gary to build him what I call a hadron collider of people. Because what he wanted is to increase higher chances of random collisions amongst his engineers. Now, Gary had never been asked to do that before, meaning designing a building for unstructured environments. And look at this floor plan. It's specifically designed to conjure serendipity. And why is that? Well, because innovation doesn't happen in one's desk. It happens when people mingle, when people share ideas, when you get feedback from other people, which is the software development environments that I grew up with. And that is what Facebook is today, but that is also the office that everybody wants today. So, you know, the comfort zone is gone. It's also a place where, apart from working hard and colliding and collaborating, you also have convenience built around you. So Facebook has like a village of shops and dry cleaners and the famous Facebook hamburger shack, but also a place where you're gonna have increased chances of work even harder. In fact, you work more hours in creative environments than in 9-to-5 places. And also subliminal messages. Can everybody read the word hack? Hack, 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 as a motto of Facebook. But this is not new. In fact, companies before have done that. Val Technologies was a company created by ex-Microsoft engineers after the IPO. And when you get there, they don't tell you in what department you work, what's your job title. They just give you that book and they put wheels on your desk and they allow you to go around the building and you find your own development team. But again, this is not new. In the 1940s, which is probably a huge renaissance time for technology, the Bell Labs in Silicon Valley and MIT became leading centers of excellence because of the way the buildings were designed. Now, the Bell Labs building was a long building that, in order for you to get to your office 1195, you have to pass in front of everybody else's office in a long corridor. So that created collisions and that created conversations. And MIT's Building 20 was the barracks. They put people up there temporarily, including dear old Noam Chomsky, And it was such a maze that everybody got lost on their way to their office. Again, conversations and collisions and collaborations. When you put multidisciplinary teams to work within a space, the innovation goes up. And that is what's happening in Michigan. This is a $5 million project by which 4 non-compete multinationals have decided to take offices and allow their product development team to work in open plans. Anyone can attend each other's brainstorm sessions. Anyone can attend each other's demo days. And these are multinationals, not startups. So the anomalies of the past are now becoming trends in the present. But even building materials are incorporating software and hardware and completely changing the way we build spaces.
People walk up to 150 million footsteps in their lifetime. When I was walking through a busy train station in London, I thought, what if we could convert the energy from every single person walking in this station to a meaningful amount of power?
Ha! Literally, a light bulb moment, which led to PaveGen, footfall harvesting flooring that can turn the kinetic energy of footsteps to electricity off the grid.
The PaveGen tiles take just one step to generate up to 7 watts of energy. And how that works is the top sheet deflects when you walk on it. From just a few steps, the lights come on. Now, I can also store that power from, say, 100 steps and then light the power fitment for a few minutes.
The technology is designed to run low voltage equipment, and it's most effective in places with high footfall. Schools, train stations, even the football stadium of the future. In Rio de Janeiro, kinetic tiles have been installed alongside solar panels and are powering a neighbourhood plagued by blackouts.
It's a way to inspire future generations into energy saving, but also to show that we need different energy mixes.
Very interesting company. So, how is technology contributing to life and the spaces that surround us to be playful? Well, there is a very big trend right now, which is evolving from the original city farms that some, local eco-warriors were running in cities. And eventually that movement has made it into the homes. This is a picture that was taken from with Google Earth and by the University of Chicago at Urbana. And they were trying to assess how the trend was evolving. And to their shock and horror, 4,000 people, instead of the 1,000 expected, were actually growing vegetables in their back gardens. So gardening has moved into, being self-reliant and creating your own food stock. Which again, if you take that into high-rises, and let's not forget, 2036, apparently 60% of the world population is going to be living in cities, hydroponics is one of those sensor technologies that is allowing people to have cute little harvests within minimal spaces. So do we reckon that these will be a requirement in the future? You can bet it will be. People are extremely concerned as to the food they put in their mouths. And just like in Victorian times, we moved the toilet from the outside of the house into the building, and also every kitchen is fitted for a laundry, believe you me, many people will want to have a hydroponics area, or maybe a roof terrace where all the neighbors grow things together. And the Internet of Things is something that I am a bit, it's cute, but still, because, things talking to things and buildings talking to things, it's not nothing new. Look, buildings have been talking to people for a long time. Some of them, they tell the stories of who lived there, even if they were fictional characters, like Sherlock Holmes, But they put a smile on our faces. And, the famous Tower Bridge Twitter account that everybody was following in London, because someone, a cute engineer, decided to grab the public data, create a Twitter account, and let a bot run that by itself. And we were all following that Twitter account simply because it would tell us if Tower Bridge was up because the ship was crossing or not. So we decided to use another bridge to go to the south of the Thames. So the Internet of Things is, creating cute moments of fun and usefulness. But when you increase technology by making it something abstract that can deliver emotional values, that is when people really grab whatever you put in front of them. And I spent many years designing things on Nokia. Can people love their building because it's giving them an emotional reaction because they can interact with it? So of course they can. And this is a really, really nice project that eventually is being used to enhance the connection of spaces surrounding buildings, shopping centers, entrances to schools.
A deer, a female deer.
Yeah, there is one in every family, a Star Wars fan. So, what is my message to you? Technology is something that you can use it as big and go large or as tiny as you feel comfortable. I got those 2 pages at my office in 1993. Very low key, the release of the World Wide Web. And look at our world today. It's being transformed by digitalization. So my message to you is allow digitalization to be part of how you design spaces. Digitalization is already embedded in people's lives, and if you are all creating projects and buildings for people, definitely this thing is on the menu. And I wish you all the success that can possibly attain in your future.
Inma, thank you very much indeed. What we better do is just check who in the room has understood what you've been saying. So, firstly, how many of you are thinking about having keyless doors now? Hands up. How many of you will not have a keyless door? Okay, well, you've got about 8-2 there in favor of keyless doors. How many of you have had a beneficial collision of some kind with somebody else in a work environment in the last week? Okay, how many have not? How many have had a collision that was not beneficial? Let's have a... okay, we've got a few of those. Good. How many of you regularly consume things produced through hydroponics? Be careful. How many of you do? Okay. How many of you never consume anything produced through hydroponics? And how many of you don't know? Yes, you see, they don't know. And then the last question really to ask you is, how many of you are interested in these energy-producing tiles that Imna talked about? Would you like to see those in your buildings? Yes. Who wouldn't like to see them? You see, you've got some converts there. That's 99-1 in favor of the energy-producing tile. Yeah. Okay, so Imna can make introductions to the suppliers of these amazing technologies. Peter, will you tell us a little bit about what you think are the implications for this technology revolution for real estate as we know it?
Absolutely. Well, Greg has asked me to come up, and probably because our company has been representing a lot of these companies, from big ones to small ones, and particularly the small ones. The word of the day, really, and you heard from Inma, is really disruption. And to most of us, I think it's kind of a negative word, really. For example, my wife claims that I snore. I don't believe her, but apparently this is true according to her, and it apparently disrupts her sleep. So that can't be good, I guess. And when I was a young boy in school, I was brought to the headmaster's office because I was being particularly disruptive in class that day. Also, that was, a problem for me. So it makes me think that the word is negative, but it obviously can be a good thing too. And for millions of young entrepreneurs and tech geeks soon to inherit the earth, disruption is actually pretty much their primary goal. It's a call to arms in a way, a rallying cry. So I thought I would show you a clip from a company called WeWork, just to give you a chance to hear directly from some of these people themselves. So if you can go ahead and play that for us, that'd be great.
To me, being a creator is being a person who is always thinking of something new, trying to bring something new to the world, and thinking in an innovative way, questioning things, trying to find new ways of doing things, trying to work with new people, find new challenges, never taking no for an answer, and really pursuing great questions and great challenges all the time.
I think that everyone is a creator in some way. I think that that's what everyone wants in life, is to create. But being an entrepreneur is just a specific type of creator. It's more just dealing with really big ideas and turning them into something tangible that people can benefit from, that somehow it makes their life easier. That's what every innovation, every venture that an entrepreneur goes on is designed to do.
Something that is inspiring and aspiring is kind of the best thing ever.
It's to make something unique, something different. It's to try to change the world and not to be a follower.
About segmenting it and doing it when it's convenient. Being a creator is just having an absolute focus and giving it your all every second of the day. There's no off switch.
To believe wholeheartedly in what you're making and support it till the end, no matter what.
Okay. Inspiring, I think exciting. This young generation, they're hard at work right now using technology to change the world in previously unimaginable ways. And since all of us in the room are basically involved in the physical world, housing basically where these people work, play, and live, we are being impacted big time. So here's how. Just going to the next slide, I hope. New ways to work. So WeWork, those guys are some of the people you just heard from in this incredibly new but enormous organization. And there have always been shared office environments, incubators, accelerators. I've seen them. I'm actually from San Francisco originally before relocating to London. And to be honest, sort of a couple of years ago, that concept was interesting, small, messy, not really, sort of a force to be dealt with. Now you're talking about these groups at a scale and a level of professionalism and ambition that's mind-boggling. Companies like WeWork, Tech Hub, Second Home, they're becoming substantial companies themselves in their own right. And the demand they're finding for what they offer is remarkable. The floor you see here is a typical one at WeWork, but it's not just one or two floors. They are now leasing over a million square feet in New York alone. They are not only offering office space now, they're moving into living space as well, combining the two. They've done a deal in San Francisco for 100,000 feet just recently, in London for 200,000 feet, and they're looking for more. They want to have 60 locations, I believe, globally in the next 12 to 18 months. This is also in London. This is a company called Second Home, And they actually have a slightly different model. They are basically looking for and acquiring buildings in order to basically strip out everything inside and create an environment that is more of a club, actually, because they will interview you as a prospective tenant and see whether or not you fit into the environment that they're trying to create. And within that box is not one solid wall in terms of wall you can't see through. It's all plexiglass. So entirely different companies, they have their privacy, they can shut a door, but everybody can see what everybody else is doing, and you're back to that sort of collision of ideas and opportunities to develop new products. And we're not just talking about companies living within these individual little spaces that you've never heard of. Santander has 20 people in a little group there. So they are, and they are an attractive combination, obviously, to put with these all these other new companies that are looking to collaborate with them. One of the groups in Second Home is actually a company called Pi Labs, and that is a company that is actually focused on disrupting your business and my business. They are looking specifically in the property industry, and they were looking for a JV partner, and so guess who offered to be that JV partner? We did. A reason being, obviously, is that if our business is going to be disrupted, we'd prefer to be in the room as opposed to outside of the room when it happens. So Juliette Morgan on the right is the person who is closest. She's with us, and she's involved as a partner in this venture going forward. Next thing I thought I would mention is borrowing from Shakespeare, because I just had a recent meeting at Google where I just thought their reference to how they're looking at office space right now for themselves is just, I just thought it was perfect. He basically says, I'll quote, "In some respects, we see our offices as one giant stage, like a theater, where shows come and go, and you need to be able to quickly take down the old sets and set up new ones." So I thought that light bulb went off for me, because really these companies are increasingly looking to just get the right box with the mechanics and the logistics to allow for that speed of changing out, because one show that they may start may turn out to be Phantom or Cats, and it might run forever, and then there will be a lot of duds as well, and so they have to be flexible to allow for that. New demand drivers, one for sure that we are seeing is what we are frequently referring to now as the war for talent. And what I can say is that because these companies are, and this ties to our earlier speakers' comments about the demographics and the scarcity of the youth and the educated talent, the need to chase that talent is causing real estate, we're finding, to finally move from what's fundamentally a commodity into really a weapon that can be used to fight those battles. And strategic real estate decisions to drive employee attraction and retention are being made by companies like Google and Twitter and Amazon and others. And here in King's Cross, obviously, you've seen this before. It's just remarkable now, if you haven't been recently, to see what that place has become. Argent has just done an incredible job. And I think the point here is that for the big tech, they're looking for scale, but they want place. And I think, I'm not sure I have a pointer, but most of you know where on the map the Google building is. But basically, if you can see the train stations up at the top left corner, the Google building is sort of the wedge shape. Well, that's all one floor plate. And I hadn't seen the presentation that Inma made, but what's remarkably similar, or remarkable about it, is the similarity to the Bell Labs building, because it is basically their vision is to take that vertical building, put it on its side, and have everybody intentionally having to run into each other within this environment. But again, the sense of place has attracted them, and the scale, and obviously the public transportation is hugely important. This I thought is interesting. These two buildings, I'm sorry, but I don't know that you could find uglier ones anywhere in the world. But in San Francisco, Twitter has taken a building that you could argue was teetering towards functional obsolescence, and previous deals were being done at sort of $20, $25 a square foot. Now the rents are 70, and they are in. And so the opportunity that these companies are bringing to us to basically take assets that are unloved, and they love them. So they're breathing new life into these assets. The Google building is just, some would have used the word monstrosity. It's just massive, massive brick old Port Authority building that you wondered what would have happened to it if Google hadn't gone there, but they're obviously there. Amazon in London, an example of a company that has absolutely made a move into the urban environment, leaving the suburban environment purely to chase the talent and the advantage that Brookfield's project has given them, because it's really on the edge of the city of London, but right on the doorstep of the more creative, younger talent pool. And last but not least, I just think this is a CGI of a project in San Francisco that we were lucky enough to be involved in. This is the building that is under construction now, that Hines and Boston Properties doing. 1.5 million square feet. It will be the tallest building in the western United States. And what I think is remarkable about it, I should have started with the fact that it has now been named Salesforce Tower. They will be in more than half of the building. Salesforce, a company that barely existed 15 years ago, is the largest employer in San Francisco. Look at how tiny the little sort of dark bronzish color Bank of America building looks in the distance. Transamerica Pyramid, cute, but no longer as prominent on the skyline. And the point here is that these companies are, they're not messing around. They are, and part of their focus and goal is to put their mark on the world, and they are determined to do it in many ways, including traditional ones like you see right here.